Imagine stepping onto a major league field and making history with every swing. That is Joshua Báez's MLB debut story. Let's dive right in.
Hi, I'm Leah, feeling pumped to dive into this incredible baseball journey.
And I am Garrett, eager to explore a story that is like no other in MLB history. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Today's topic is Joshua Báez. He is a Dominican-American outfielder for the St. Louis Cardinals who turned his debut into instant history. 3 swings, 3 home runs, his first 3 plate appearances in the big leagues. That is so wild. Before we get into the numbers, I want to share something quick. I once tried to learn a new language on a deadline for a semester abroad. My phone and a translation app were basically glued to my hand. I felt awkward, like every sentence might come out wrong. Joshua Báez moved back to Boston from Santo Domingo and used Google Translate to get through school and everyday life. That kind of determination hits me, resilience and humility. You keep showing up even when it is clunky. Honestly, it reminds me of practicing cello scales. At first it sounds rough, but if you keep at it, one day the tone locks in. That is the vibe I get from his journey.
All right, big picture. Joshua Emmanuel Báez was born in Boston in 2003, then raised partly in Santo Domingo, which is the capital of the Dominican Republic. He later returned to Boston and grew bilingual over time. He is now an outfielder with power and speed for the St. Louis Cardinals. Quick definitions while we are here. MLB means Major League Baseball, the top professional league in North America. A plate appearance is every completed turn at bat, whether it ends in a hit, a walk, or an out. AA and AAA are higher minor league levels, with AAA just below the majors. Knowing that structure helps us follow his climb.
Early days. He grew up around baseball culture in the Dominican Republic, then came back to Boston in 6th grade and had to learn English from scratch. Google Translate was his bridge. He started at Cristo Rey Boston High School, then transferred to Snowden International School. There he did the rare two-way thing. He pitched and he hit. He reportedly reached up to 97 miles per hour on the mound and batted over .400 in a season. That's elite arm strength and loud contact for a high schooler. Before his junior year, he transferred to Dexter Southfield School, a strong prep program. In 2020, there was no season due to the pandemic, yet he was still named the Massachusetts Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year. That award weighs athletic performance, academics, and character, so evaluators were betting on his tools and his work habits. In 2021, he played a shortened senior spring. He hit around .378 with some pop and struck out 44 as a pitcher in 18 innings. The two-way skills were real, even though he would later focus on the outfield as a pro.
Then came draft day. In 2021, the Cardinals picked him in the 2nd round, 54th overall. He signed for $2.25 million, which is a serious vote of confidence at that slot. He debuted that summer in the Florida Complex League, the rookie level out of spring facilities. He hit .158 over 76 at-bats. That is a small sample, but it showed some growing pains. He also drew 14 walks, which hints at some strike zone feel. In 2022, he opened with extended spring training, then went to the Palm Beach Cardinals in Single A. After 1 game, he sprained his left wrist and went on the injured list. That is tough, because wrist injuries can steal your power for a while. He rehabbed in the complex and returned mid-August. Across the complex in Palm Beach, he batted .267 with 4 home runs and 10 steals, so the timing and strength started coming back.
In 2023, he spent the full season at Palm Beach. The batting average sat around .2118, but he swiped 30 bases and kept learning the grind of a long season. In 2024, he moved between Palm Beach and the Peoria Chiefs, which is the Cardinals' High A club. He hit .245 with 11 homers and 41 runs batted in over 86 games. He also spent time on the development list, which is a tool teams use to pause game action and focus on targeted adjustments. Working on approach and swing decisions without the day-to-day pressure can pay off later.
And then the breakout. In 2025, he opened at Peoria and earned a promotion to the Springfield Cardinals in AA by late May. AA is the proving ground. If a bat plays there, it is a good sign. Across both stops, he hit .287 with 20 home runs and 54 stolen bases in 117 games. That's a true power speed combo, and his 79 RBIs show a lot of productive contact with runners on base. In November, the team added him to the 40-man roster to protect him from the Rule 5 draft. Quick definitions. The Rule 5 draft lets teams select certain unprotected players from other clubs to keep talent from being stashed forever, and the 40-man roster is the protected list that makes you eligible for the majors and starts your option years. Being added in 2025 signaled that the Cardinals saw near-term impact.
Moving into spring 2026, he hit around .333 with 3 home runs with the big club in camp. Still, he was optioned to the Memphis Redbirds in AAA to start the year. Memphis is the last stop before the majors. On June 16th, he went off for 4 home runs in a single game, which set a Memphis single-game record. 4 homers in one night is video game mode. By August 14th, manager Ollie Marmol announced that Báez was coming up. He had a .256 average with 34 homers and 90 runs batted in over 103 AAA games. The bat was demanding a look.
Debut day, August 15th at Wrigley Field, the Chicago Cubs' historic ballpark. He started in left field. First pitch he ever saw in the majors. Gone off Matthew Boyd, a veteran big league pitcher starting for the Cubs that day. Second plate appearance, another homer off Boyd. Third plate appearance, you guessed it, a third one off Boyd. For clarity, a plate appearance counts every completed trip to the plate, while an at-bat excludes things like walks. He became the first player in MLB history to homer in each of his first 3 plate appearances. He finished 3 for 4 with 3 homers and 5 runs batted in, and the Cardinals won 8-4. That is a lightning bolt of an entrance.
I keep thinking about the mental side. You carry the weight of childhood moves, new languages, and then step into a rivalry game at Wrigley. The ability to breathe and swing free on pitch 1, that is composure. The fact that all 3 were against the same pitcher feels even more impressive. Facing the same arm multiple times usually helps the pitcher. He adjusted in-game, and Báez kept finding damage swings. That one gave me chills. But here's a real talk question. Historic debuts are amazing, yet baseball is a marathon. Do you think that level of production is sustainable over time, or does the league catch up fast and force a reset?
Great question. I am optimistic, not because of just one night, but because the resume shows adjustments across years. Early struggles in 2021, a wrist sprain in 2022, approach work on the development list in 2024, then a 20-homer and 54-steal season in 2025. That is an arc of problem solving. The 4-homer game in AAA and the 3-homer debut say the power is real. Pitchers will absolutely game plan him, but bilingual communication with coaches and that track record of adapting point to a strong chance he keeps finding answers. That is pretty cool, right?
I hear you, and I kind of agree on the adaptability. I still lean cautious. The league adjusts fast. Scouting reports get granular. Pitchers will attack any chase tendencies or specific zones. He will have to prove he can control the strike zone, especially against advanced sequencing. Consistency is the test. Do it over months, then a season. If he keeps the swing decisions tight, the tools speak for themselves. That is the heartbeat of it for me. Can I ask why he was sent to AAA after such a strong spring? On the surface, it feels like he was clearly ready.
Totally fair. Teams often choose everyday AAA at-bats over a part-time Major League role in April. It's roster management. He was already on the 40-man roster, which starts option years. An option year lets a club move a player between the majors and AAA without exposing him to waivers. That flexibility matters. Also, steady game reps sharpen approach better than pinch hit duty. So they let him cook in Memphis, and the results spoke loud. 34 AAA homers by mid-August. On league adjustments, it is a back and forth. Pitchers shift, hitters counter shift. He already showed he can see the same pitcher 3 times in a game and still do damage. That suggests pitch recognition and timing. If he keeps that foundation, I am down for that trajectory.
I also think his bilingual path is a quiet advantage. Clubhouses are multilingual. Coaching cues land better when you can go back and forth in English and Spanish. That speeds up learning and maybe softens slumps. Communication matters in the outfield too. Clean calls and quick relays. Remember, he used to pitch. That strong arm and pitcher mindset can help reads and throws from the corners.
Zooming out to pop culture for a second. Debut legends are a thing. A bunch of players have homered in their first at-bat. A few have had multi-homer debuts. But 3 homers in the first 3 plate appearances, that is unique. You can see the headline montage in your head. Wrigley lights, the score bug flashing. It is the kind of moment that gets replayed every time someone else debuts.
I want the documentary that pairs the debut with the language journey. Boston to Santo Domingo to Boston again. Google Translate in the hallways, then Wrigley under the lights. Interviews with teachers and early coaches. A simple title like First Pitch or 3 Swings. That is a story worth telling.
What if we switch gears to a what if? Vanderbilt University was his college commitment. Vanderbilt is a premier college baseball program. If he had honored that, he probably would have had a slower runway. Metal bats, fewer games than a pro season, a ton of coaching and structure. But the debut clock likely pushes back by at least a couple years. Maybe he enters pro ball older, more polished in some ways, but with fewer pro reps versus advanced pitching patterns.
I can see that. College could have refined the strike zone early and spotlighted him in the College World Series, but the trade-off is timing. If the 2022 wrist sprain happens in college, maybe the arc shifts again, and without the 2026 AAA run, there is no 4-homer game in Memphis in June, and maybe no 3-homer debut in August. Different timeline, different first chapter in the majors. Still a good story, but not the same shock of history in a single night.
Either way, the Cardinals believed in the ceiling, the $2.25 million bonus, the 40-man protection in 2025, and the call-up in 2026. All signs that the pro path matched his style. Develop through reps, adjust, then let the power eat. That checks out.
Stay curious and keep exploring new stories.
And remember, every swing could be the one for the memory bank.